we're going to go through each team's room. We'll start there. Their entire quarterback room. Some teams have 3 quarterbacks, some have 5. We have 4. We're going to just kind of lay out each team's depth chart. Then we're going to go back through and we're going to need your help. We're going to rank them 1 to 4. Now, understand, this is not the best quarterback. This is the best quarterback room, which is very, very important. Because if you look at the NFC West last year, they only have 4 teams. I think it was 13 quarterbacks started games for the NFC West last year. Injuries happened as much as ever. So here we go. Let's start off with Arizona, which, man, already got an asterisk next to it. Yeah, they got 5 quarterbacks. Kyler Murray, is he going to play at all? Not going to play early.
And this could be why they have 5, right? I didn't even think about that, but this could be the reason why they have 5. You were talking about Kyler Murray, and then the fact that he's injured and he's not going to be playing at the beginning of the season. Will he play at all this season? That's the big question mark. And so they have another 4 on the roster. So this is going to be interesting to go through.
Yeah, so probably their week 1 starter, Colt McCoy. We played against him back-to-back years now. Colt McCoy torched us in 2021. And then in 2022, Mexico City, man, they beat the tar out of that man.
Which they should have.
They should have. Yeah. Now, after that, they've got some decent backups. I actually like their depth. David Blau, he's got some NFL starts. Jeff Driscoll, former 49ers legend. And Clayton Tune that they got in the 5th round. I actually like Clayton Tune quite a bit. I think I had a 3rd-round grade on him. So you've got some capable quarterbacks there, but nobody that scares you by any stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, right now I'm looking at the roster. I'm saying Colt McCoy would be the starter due to the injury of Kyler Murray. But their backups, Clayton Tune, he's a rookie, David Blau and Jeff Driscoll, the good old veteran. I mean, they got some guys. And I don't one of those guys is gonna end up on the practice squad somewhere. But I think if Kyler Murray was available, and I'm pending all the injuries and things like that, like this is if Kyler Murray is available, they have a pretty decent quarterbacks room. I think Colt McCoy serves as a good backup quarterback in the NFL, and then you go to your rookies like Clayton Tune and David Blau and the other veteran and Jeff Driscoll. So I think their quarterback room is decent. I don't want to say it's solid, but if Kyler Murray was here, I think this would be a solid room. We'd have a different conversation.
There we go. Yeah, I'm with you. What's up, Corey Peters from Facebook? I like it. East Coast Niners fan here from Pennsylvania. First time catching you all live. Go Niners. Welcome, man. Very happy Corey. To have you. You got not 1, but 2 Niners games in your state this year. Hopefully you take advantage of that. That is awesome. All right, let's transition to the Rams now. The Rams, they're weird. Matt Stafford, the injury last year, they kept saying, not an issue. They shut him down basically after the first month of the year. Seems like he's back. Now they go out and they draft Stetson Bennett in the 4th round. They have Brett Rippon, Braxton Burmeister, and Dresser Wynn. Yes, those are real human beings, not made up names, even though they do sound made up. But yeah, so that's their room. So another 5-team quarterback room. What do you think of these Rams? What comes to mind whenever I went through that?
So what I'm thinking is it's going to happen is they're going to trade Matthew Stafford. I think that's what I'm getting. They got these quarterbacks in there. If Stetson Bennett has a great camp, I can see him overtaking Brett Rippon and all the other guys that I don't know their names. So like if they don't get a chance to move on from like a Matthew Stafford, which it doesn't make sense to trade, but I don't know. He might not even be healthy, even though he's listed as healthy as of right now. But I think this is why they have 5 too. I think Stafford's the question mark. Clearly, again, if he's the starting quarterback, he's good. Like he's a good quarterback. Like in the NFL.
I think he's the best quarterback in the division.
If healthy.
That's a big if.
It's tough for me because I don't know, something about Kyler Murray I like. Right. But I get it. He would be the best quarterback with the Super Bowl experience.
Yeah, he's got the Super Bowl experience. He's 35. Okay, so that's an issue. He's had injuries and battled through it. He's tough as hell. I'm not trying to diminish. Here's what's crazy. I remember watching him play in the state championship baseball game he pitched in
wow.
Texas.
He's tough, though.
He's tough.
Listen, you're tough when you spend the majority of your career and tenure in Detroit and never win anything. And then they take away one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. I mean, Matthew Stafford would probably be in the category of a Joe Montana minus the Super Bowls. But as far as just being a good quarterback, he would be in that conversation had they just not effed up the team in Detroit. That's what they did. But he still remained decent, and for a short period of time, even our head coach was courting Matthew Stafford, and then I think that's why Kyle Shanahan beats Sean McVay's ass so much, just because, yeah, it's like no payback. Like, oh, you took my guy. All right, cool, no problem. It's gonna whip that tail every time I see you, except for that one game, just one game where we still could have won.
Now, you brought up trading Matthew Stafford, and there's been rumors that they shopped him. If they traded Matthew Stafford, they'd save $1.5 million this year, but a $55.5 million dead cap hit next year.
Dang!
So you're going to trade him away and pay him $55 million next year?
Nah, they're not doing that.
Listen to his cap hits, okay? So this year, $56 million. Next year, 49.5. 2025, 50.5 million. 2026, 49.5 million. He's going to be 38 that year. I don't see any team trading for this contract.
No.
I just do not see it.
No, I mean, this is one of those things the Rams just got them. They dug a hole. But look, they won a Super Bowl. They went all in. Yeah. They got a Super Bowl. Will they win it ever again? Probably not. Not with that contract. How are they going to pay the rest of their players? Interesting.
There's a reason why they let everybody go.
There is.
Everybody go.
Pay attention to what's going on. But at the end of the day, like, if Matthew Stafford is healthy, he still poses a problem on the football field. He has the cognitive ability. He has the skill set. He's the physical quarterback. All right. If he's healthy, he's still, a potential warning on the football field. So you got to account for him.
Right. And so that's the thing. Now, I love the comment. I'm not the biggest Stetson Bennett guy.
I like Stetson Bennett. What is wrong with y'all? Like, what did he do that pissed everybody off?
He didn't go to class. That's one thing he didn't do.
None of us went to class.
Years.
What are we talking about?
Graduate 8 years at Georgia. Come on, man.
But still, nobody went to class. Listen, let me name okay. I want to raise of hands if you went to class in college. I mean, I went, but I'm just saying there was times where the way my sleep account was set up, I just couldn't get out the bed. I'm just saying.
The Athletic podcast, which I probably should be doing this, but it's awesome. They just released the Playmakers episodes.
Oh, nice.
It's 5-episode series over Kyle Shanahan, McVay, all the coaches that were together at Washington when they were together. It was awesome. Everybody's like right here. I went to class, but it's awesome. Kyle Shanahan tells the story whenever he was at, I think it was Duke or Texas. I don't remember which one it was. He was a wide receiver there. And so they had finals for the same day as practice. And so Kyle Shanahan went to practice. And they said, Kyle, what are you doing here? If you miss this final, you're going to fail that class. And Kyle Shanahan goes, I know. I made my choice. My future's in football. It's not in this degree.
So why are we having this conversation? Does class matter?
Yes.
It depends.
Yes, it matters.
Well, listen, the only reason why I would advocate anybody to go to class is because you pay for it. Like, at the end of the day, don't waste the money.
And I'll say this. I think the Niners, despite that story of Kyle Shanahan, they value academics, I think, probably more than any other football. Last year, I think it was 82 out of 91 players on the 90-man roster had some type of all academic, something in high school or college, honor roll, whatever. And so, I think they care about intelligence, but whatever.
Listen, college is a system. Everything in life is a system. Once you figure the system out, you'll be fine.
Look, these comments are hilarious.
Listen,
man.
I am a teacher, and at the end of the day, I tell my students, listen, college might not be for you. Are you going to be committed to go to class? Are you going to be committed to study on your own? Are you going to be committed to you got to commit yourself to them things.
Seymour Butt says, wasn't he arrested for drunk driving? Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Okay.
Did he
I
graduate?
was never arrested for that. So
Yeah. Right here, Judd says, I went to class once out of every 300 days. That's awesome.
I
Niner
love this
sickness.
show. This is
The only
why they
class
love
I
this
went
show.
on, I love it. Detention only. Yeah, y'all supposed to be. Kali, I'm holding down the fort over here, man. Go to school, kids. I'm
Hey,
pretty
I
sure
didn't.
my son
Wait,
can read
wait.
through this door.
College and regular school is two different things. I did not say not go to high school, grade school, pre-K school. That's not what I'm saying. When you get to college, though, it's a little different. It's a little different. It's an investment, sort of.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of.
different. All right, so that's kind of the Rams thing. Whatever. Let's go to the Seahawks. They only have 3 quarterbacks, by far the least. They bring back Geno Smith, who had a great year.
Great year.
Drew Lock is their backup. They seem kind of dead set on that 1-2 punch. And then Holton Ahlers, who's again, that's a real human. Holton Ahlers. So yeah, not a lot of names
East Carolina.
there. They seem dead set on what they got.
Yeah, he's a rookie from East Carolina.
I like East Carolina. That means he played with Jordan
and Keaton Mitchell too, who's the kid that I wanted.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, our undrafted free agent, is it Whitehead? Is that
Isaiah Winstead?
Winstead. There we go. Yeah. So that was his quarterback. So there we go. Look at you, Wayne.
Hey man, I just I study a little bit just because it's not about going to class, it's about you picking up information and reading it on your own.
This.
I can't help it because I want my money back, college. That's what I really want. All right, here we go. Look, I know Geno is I will say this. He resurged himself back into football conversations. He revived his career in Seattle. Well, let's leave 100%. It at that. I thought he was really efficient. And I think as a 49er fan, we like that word because that's what we got from Jimmy Garoppolo. That's what you're getting from Brock Purdy. You're getting high efficiency. What does that mean? What does that equate to on the football field? It's simply just moving the chains, getting first downs, like making things happen. And that's what you saw from Geno. And I think his supporting cast speaks volumes. And Seattle was our biggest competitor last year. And some may say they got better. I will say that they brought Geno back because they believed in him. They did draft a couple of guys that I think we're going to have to, figure out. I don't care if they're rookies. They can be problems on the football field. Remember, football is all about matchups. But back to Geno and the quarterback's room, Drew Lock, I think, is a pretty damn good. Well, he sucked in Denver.
And so did Russell Wilson.
So maybe he's a better backup in Seattle.
Right. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. But you look at Geno, he was great. NFL comeback player of the year. I think he's one of the first comeback players that came back not from an injury, but just from being bad. He didn't start a game all the way back till 2017 before he got in Seattle. But 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. That's great.
It's great.
That's great.
And like you said, at some point, he was in the MVP conversation.
Right. Now, before we jump into that, because I want to approach the Geno conversation kind of in a different way.
Okay.
So let's hold off on that one. Let's talk about the Niners quarterback room. And then I want us to go through and kind of rank these quarterbacks 1 through whatever.
Got you.
So the 49ers, Brock Purdy, leader in the clubhouse, the phrase that we've heard so many times, Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, Brandon Allen. A lot of depth there, man. I would argue probably the best number 3 quarterback in the NFL, whether that's Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, whoever you talk to, that's okay. But that's a pretty damn good quarterback 3. I think Sam Darnold or Trey Lance would be number 2 or number 1 for several teams.
Yeah, I wrote an article about the 49ers having the best quarterbacks room in the NFL. And I don't feel like people didn't read it. And the reason why I said that is because when you look at the 49ers, they technically have 3 quarterbacks that can start. So they have 3 starting caliber quarterbacks: Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, and Trey Lance. Those guys can probably be starting quarterbacks for any other team. In fact, Sam Darnold actually started for a different team, and Trey Lance at one point started for the San Francisco 49ers. It was a small sample size due to injury, but he was the starter. And so when you look at that, that means that your depth is better, right? Because Sam Darnold, especially in this system. Sam Darnold, I think, will be a better reserved quarterback than he was as a starting quarterback due to the way he was set up in New York, due to the way he was set up in Carolina, which he started to show a little bit of promise in Carolina, but he still didn't have, did he ever play with Christian McCaffrey? Why do I get a hell no? But there it is. So
neither has Trey Lance.
Right. So let those things sink in for a small second before we start saying, oh man, this guy. I know what they've done, but they haven't done it here yet. And until they do it here, you really won't get any bad mouth from me. Like even Trey Lance, this kid has not played football yet, as far as I'm concerned. He won a game. He won 2 games and he lost 2 games, right? Like I think that's kind of like how it is. Where he won 2 games and lost 1 game. I can't remember how it is. I know he lost to the Cardinals. He beat Houston, and then he got the win. He lost to the Bears. Yeah, so he's 2-2. We agree. Lost to the Bears, and then he got the win for Seattle, even though he was injured in that game. So I think he's 2-2.
Yeah, as 2-2
quarterback for the 49ers. But at the end of the day, that ain't nothing. Like, we still haven't seen him play football under this type of regime. Because I know a lot of people say he didn't have CMC. He also didn't have George Kittle week 1. And so things could just be because, and he lost his running back in the first half of that game. Things were just different. So I will say this. I think the quarterbacks room, 49ers, may have the best quarterbacks room in the NFL, not just the NFC West.
Oh, I like that.
The 49ers Rush Podcast.